Warning: the following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to the MGS Podcast, your one-stop shop for movies, games, and sports. My name is Jake. Here I is with my knight in shining armor, Paul. How you doing, Paul?
Doing pretty good, man. Just brushing off the old armor over here.
Brushing up the vibranium armor. Black Panther over here, the White Knight.
Yeah, doing good, man. It's been
White
a good
Wolf.
weekend. It's Sunday. Getting ready for the work week.
Yeah, that is always exciting.
Snap back to reality. Oops, there goes gravity.
Yeah. That's why we need y'all to share this podcast a little bit more so we don't have to work anymore.
I'm ready to retire.
Yeah, we can just give you guys content all day long, every day.
Every day. Stupid videos,
Yeah.
fun videos.
Amazing videos. You know, Paul's been doing his reels lately. He's getting some traction on those.
Yeah.
Imagine how many reels he could make if you subscribe, like, and share this video. 5 more.
Thousands.
Okay. I thought you were just...
Millions.
5. Baby, yeah. But on today's podcast, we are going to be giving a spoiler review of Doctor Strange. I will put a timestamp in the video so you know where to skip to avoid any spoilers. But Paul was finally able to go see it, so now he can give his feedback on it. And then, this Friday, what's coming?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, he said that with so much masculinity.
We've been waiting so long for this, and it's finally here.
I'm excited.
And we're going to, I know we've talked about it already in a couple of our podcasts, but we're really going to go into a lot more detail today on what to expect with the series and who we can expect to see. We got our second trailer on May the 4th. And
Which I called, by the way.
Yeah,
I said
yeah,
we're gonna get one more trailer, and it's gonna be on May the 4th.
And they gave us a lot more teasers and a lot of good content to talk about, so we're going to go over that today. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check out the trailer and then come back and watch this. Got a lot of good information there. And then another movie comes out actually on Amazon Prime Video, which is actually called Emergency. Looks pretty good, so I'm excited to talk about that. Tomato meter score is actually 93% on it, so looks like it's getting some good reviews already for people who've seen it.
Then for gaming,
World War III.
yeah, we're going to be talking more about World War III. It was one of those Battlefield alternatives I had touched on, I think, in our second podcast, something like that. Some exciting news came out with them. And then we are also going to be talking about Arma Reforger, which is the newest game in the Arma series, the beloved Milsim games. Kind of taking a little different path.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then to finish things up, we're going to be giving you an update on the NBA playoffs and any other sports news that we can figure out by the time we get to that segment.
Also, is this our 10th episode?
This is
Our 10th episode.
Man, I should have got some, like...
Confetti, little poppers.
Fuck. Babe! We need confetti!
Oh. Now!
On that note, we're going to take a small break and jump right into movies.
All right, we'll see you in a second.
So to kick things off, if you have not seen Doctor Strange and you do not want to see any spoilers, jump to this time in the video. Right there. No, I already took it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn it. I'm always so late to the party.
This guy. So, to start things off, Paul told me what he gave it score-wise. So, you want to start with that? What did you think of it?
Yeah, I think it was a great movie. I put it at about an 8 out of 10.
Which is a pretty good score.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I didn't think it was anything that I was disappointed about. There was things that I think I would like to see. But overall, the movie was great. Elizabeth Olsen is a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Actress. I'm sorry. Yeah. Actress. She did an incredible job playing that part of Scarlet Witch, and then also the part of the mom, and just that. You could just see the care and the feelings that she put into her character. I thought she did really well. And then you're right. I mean, we've got to see so many different sides of Doctor Strange.
Yeah. You got to see so much character growth, too, on top of seeing his different variants. And,
yeah.
By the end of it, he realizes that he doesn't have to make a sacrifice play. Instead, he can, let this young girl fight and see what happens.
Yep.
And he ended up being right. But, talking about Elizabeth Olsen, a funny scene when she portals back into, and she doesn't realize that because America Chavez opened the portal back into like the living room of Wanda and her kids, and she didn't realize it, and like the kids like start throwing stuff at her, and she screams. She's like, "Stop it!" That was real. It wasn't acting. They were actually throwing shit at her, and she was getting pissed off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, because she talked about it in an interview, and she said she felt really bad afterwards, but they kept it in the movie because it was so
I would have.
real.
And actually, if those kids had better acting, I probably would have gave the movie a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
But those kids were pretty awful actors.
Yeah,
so I can understand why she was getting pissed off at those damn kids. So,
but to touch on some of the things we talked about last week when we were talking about the movie as if I hadn't seen it. I wasn't expecting Elizabeth Olsen or the Scarlet Witch to be the villain of the movie. The movie kind of starts off where you see this weird ribbon-like creature chasing America Chavez and Defender Strange through this very weird land. And I figured whatever is controlling that's our villain.
Right.
And it turned out the Scarlet Witch was the one controlling this
hunting American Chavez throughout the universe.
Trying to kill this young girl to take her powers so that she can, go live in a universe where her children exist.
Right. And, I think it was, I forget who asked the question, but, someone was like, what happens if your kids die in that universe or something happens to them and they, get some kind of disease? And she's like, well, I'll just go to a universe where there's a cure. She's like, that's the glory of a multi-universe. There's always going to be some kind of cure, some kind of answer. And I was like, that's when you like really saw like, wow, she's like, her character's gone like super psychotic and like this, she's trapped from this evil from, the witch. And I think it was awesome to see, which if you haven't watched it, obviously if you're still listening to this, you've probably seen the movie or you don't care about spoilers, but the number one, they made the movie really dark. Like at points, I thought it was a horror movie.
Yeah.
The way that they made the movie, like focused around on how dark Scarlet Witch was, but the scene with Xavier, when he was in her mind, and it was just her trying to climb out of the rubble, and he's like, he's like trying
to help her out.
Help her out. Yeah. And then you can just see this red smoke coming, and like basically takes over and kills Xavier at that point.
Literally just appears behind him and snaps his neck.
Yeah, and it's like a horror movie snap neck, like this glitching of the screen and the scream, and it was
the creepy fingers and everything.
Yeah, it was, and there's so many times in the movie where they actually do that, and they give you that horror movie feel. And it was like I remember telling Jasmine, I was like, there was a lot of parts in that movie where it made me jump a little bit. I was like, holy crap, dude.
You've got the part where she's attacking all the sorcerers, and she starts like coming through the reflections. Yeah. Like her arm goes through, and at one point you just see her eyeball. And then
that was American Chavez when she was like looking down at it. Yeah.
And then you see her crawl out, almost like the Ring.
Yes,
the
out of the TV.
Out of the TV.
Yes. Oh my God, that's exactly what I thought.
They cut out the first scene of the movie was super dark, and they cut it out.
You mean like where they're running through?
It would have happened before that. So the first scene of the movie that was filmed was actually Mordo in the main Marvel universe going to confront Wanda and punish her for what she did in Westview. And she ends up breaking his neck in our Marvel universe.
So I'm assuming they took that out so you didn't know right away that Wanda was the villain.
Exactly. There was the leading up to it. And even the way that it was revealed where, Doctor Strange goes to Wanda for help, and they're talking about it, and then she says America's name, and then like Doctor Strange pauses, and she's like, "You didn't tell me her name, did you?" And then like the illusion that she was portraying just goes away. It goes from being like these beautiful
apple trees, right?
Yeah. And then it's just red and destroyed, and you can just see the damage that the Darkhold has done to her surroundings. But, you know, just what they did in that movie is so crazy to me. Like, they introduced us to the Illuminati, which has John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. We've got Black Bolt returning from the Inhuman TV series. We've got Captain Carter, Captain America. We've got Monica Rambeau as, Captain Marvel. And then Mordo was there. And, you see Black Bolt's head get blown out.
Dude, that
where
was
his
so
brains
wild.
are, like, stuck in the helmet or in his mask.
You just see it, like, running down the back, and you're like, holy
And then, and that was all because, like, hey, John Krasinski as, Richard Reed is like, Black Bolt, he can destroy you with a single whisper. And then she just erases his lips and he starts freaking out and he's yelling, which blows up his brain. And then
it was wild.
Well, even, John Krasinski saying, like, I understand where you're coming from. I've got children too. I know how you feel. And she's like, is their mother alive? Yes, she is. Good. They'll have someone to raise them.
Dude, that was, when I heard that part, I was like...
paper shreds him and blows his head up.
That was wild.
Like, what the fuck? Like, you see these characters appear, and in no way did I think they were going to die. I thought they were going to help defeat
Even
Wanda.
if they were defeated, did you think it was going to happen in that gruesome of an aspect?
Oh my God.
Like, it was wild to see the way that she killed all of them. I mean...
One thing that I thought was super cool that a lot of people don't notice, when Reed Richards first appears, he comes through like a portal in the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same technology that the TVA uses, which, Kang is a long descendant of Reed Richards. So, yeah.
I didn't know
that's
that.
his like great grandson.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Which brings me to a disappointing factor, as I was hoping, like I mentioned last week, that we were going to see Kang the Conqueror come in. I know that you were hoping we might be able to see Iron Man or Tom Cruise come in as Superior Iron Man, which didn't happen. So there's a lot of things, and it was awesome to see these new characters come to light, but it's not something that I think we're going to see anytime soon. Like, we got them, and then they were killed immediately, so who knows what effect that will have in the multiverse, but it was nice to see different characters on screen. So.
One issue I do have is that Wong, at the end of that movie, was still Sorcerer Supreme, when Doctor Strange just saved the multiverse by himself, just like he saved everyone in Endgame, essentially, by giving up the Time Stone, because he saw that, in Infinity War, he gave up the Time Stone to save everybody in Endgame because he saw the future. How the hell is Wong still Sorcerer Supreme? I know they voted on it when Doctor Strange was blipped, but come on. Do another vote.
He's back now.
Because Wong was useless in that movie.
I mean, I don't want to say useless.
Useless.
He did kill one of those giants at the very end.
That's true. That's true.
Pulled him right off that cliff.
Yeah, but, I mean, even like the different variants of Doctor Strange, seeing that really dark one whose universe had collided with another one.
That was
cool.
He
was the only survivor, and they have
He'd had the Darkhold,
yeah,
and he was possessed by it.
Yeah, and they had that fight using the musical notes.
Yeah, that was so
super
badass.
Cool.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't like that.
What?
But I thought it was so cool because, like, you've got this like brighter music when Doctor Strange is attacking, and then Sinister Strange is attacking, and it's that Beethoven stuff.
Yeah, the dark. Yeah. And they're like throwing the notes at each other. Yeah. That shit was
badass. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say when we got to the dark Doctor Strange, and being overtaken by the black hole, and having the third eye.
Yeah.
And then, which was gonna say, brings me to the after credits, where Doctor Strange opens up that third eye,
yeah.
and you notice. Well, actually, it might have been at the end of the movie.
It was in the first post-credit scene.
Wasn't there something at the very end of the movie as well?
He collapses like in the street and like looks up at like the camera that's now above him, and then the eye opens.
And then in the post-credit scene you see
that he's now learned to live with the eye, and he meets up with let me ask you, did you know who that was in the post credits?
I didn't. I was gonna actually ask you.
Okay, so that is Dormammu's daughter.
Oh yeah, Dormammu.
Do you know who Dormammu?
Oh yeah, totally. Totes
Oh,
and
yeah.
the goats, man.
Duh, Dormammu's daughter. I can't believe I didn't think of that. It might be his granddaughter.
Man.
It could be. Dormammu was the villain in the first Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah,
the big
okay.
like dark dimension being who Doctor Strange gets stuck in a time loop and eventually he sets Doctor Strange free. That's his daughter. It might be granddaughter too. I could be wrong, but that's Clea, played by Charlize Theron.
So what do you know about her and what she's?
I don't know much about her.
Okay.
I don't know too much about her. I know that the next movie more than likely will take place in the dark dimension, though. But I don't know much about her character specifically, other than who she is.
God, there's gonna be so much jumping around now. So you have Doctor Strange, who's obviously potentially gonna be exploring multiverses beyond. So I feel like that's where we'll finally see Kang the Conqueror in one of those movies.
Yeah, because we know that Kang isn't in the main universe.
Right. So we won't see him, obviously, and that's what I was getting to. My point there is, like, you're going to have, like, almost a broken off series of the original universe with Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor. And then you have Doctor Strange, who's in this multiverse, who's going to potentially open up the worlds for a bunch of other Marvel movies.
I don't know if you knew this, but Kang is confirmed to be in an upcoming movie.
Which one?
Ant-Man.
Well, so
Quantumania.
And to me, Ant-Man is going to be a part of the Doctor Strange universe.
Yeah, because, the quantum realm, that's essentially that whole multiverse thing, because it seems that there's a way through the time travel, because, time exists within different multiverses, kind of, within the MCU. So with the time travel, obviously, they also might be able to travel the multiverse with the quantum realm, which is the theory that the TVA is in the quantum realm, so their teleporters that they use can actually travel through dimensions similar to America.
And now we're going to have to, remember multiverse universes 616 and 429.
838.
Yeah, so we're going to have to remember all these universes and know what Marvel characters we're dealing with and
they're
what
only going to give
storyline.
us 4 or 5 total. Cause,
Still way too many.
We need the X-Men. They can't just say, oh yeah, the X-Men always existed here. We need a different universe where the X-Men have always existed, because you can't get rid of the backstory of Magneto and Xavier, where they went through the Holocaust and they were in the concentration camps, because that was what made Magneto hate humans, and that's what made him who he was. So you cannot erase that. So that's going to have to take place in a different universe. Fantastic Four has to be in a different universe. Well, and it also can't be in 838 because Reed Richards got his head blown up.
Yeah,
so.
well, you no longer exist in that universe,
so it's got to be a different universe than that. But I'm excited for that. But I don't think they'll give us too many universes. Like, oh shit, is this universe 113892? Damn.
No, it's 113894.
Oh shit, this is the one with the T-Rex is still alive. It's cool when they're traveling through the different dimensions.
Reed Richards is the T-Rex.
Oh, he's got stretchy arms. That solves the problem for T-Rex not being able to scratch his own ass, though. See? That's all T-Rex needs. Man, I had started a little bit. T-Rex.
Today, Junior.
Yeah. But I think the MCU is going into kind of a scary place, because I feel like they're not focusing so much on individual character development. They're focusing on a broader scope of character development.
This goes to my theory that that's why they're doing all these TV shows.
Yeah.
You'll get your character development out of the TV shows that they launch on Disney Plus, and then you'll have your movies, which eventually, as of right now, most of besides Loki, you really don't have to watch any of the TV shows to really know a lot of the characters or anything, but and even Loki you can really kind of get by, but it was nice to know about the TVA and all of that,
because I think that's going to have a lot to do with the future,
right, and where Loki even is at this point. So so I think that's where the direction they'll probably go, which to me is great. I mean, you're getting a lot more content throughout the time instead of waiting 2 years for a movie. You got these interactive shows, but
I think we got to wrap up on Doctor Strange. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, sorry for all the spoilers, but then again, you decided to sit here and
tune back in now.
But yeah, it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Definitely would be one I would rewatch just because there's a lot of information in there that's like, well, I got to see it one more time at least to grasp everything. But
no, welcome back to anyone who skipped to this point to avoid any spoilers. We're gonna jump into Obi-Wan Kenobi. Disney Plus show comes out this Friday. I always say I'm excited. You guys hear me. I'm a broken record. This is different. This is Star Wars. This is
near
my
and dear
soul. Like, this isn't near and dear to my heart. This is my being. Like, Star Wars is everything to me. I'm just saying.
It's all right.
But so Kenobi comes
it,
out.
man.
This is gonna take. It's gonna take place 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith. Trailer 2 was a lot darker than trailer 1. You know, you see at one point you see Owen Lars.
First off, I would have slapped the shit out of Owen Lars if I was Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, I mean Owen Lars. You know,
You're gonna train him just like you did his
Just
father.
like you did his father. Like,
Bitch.
ooh, Force choke. You want to see the dark side, bitch?
Now they're definitely gonna know where we at because you are dead.
They're gonna feel this choke, mother trucker. Shit.
So yeah, I would have slapped the living shit out of Owen Lars.
That was ballsy, but you know,
You may have lost some weight since the last time we saw each other, but I'm gonna slap the shit out of you.
you wanna see what a Force slap feels like? Whoop-ah! That was it. But you know, in the trailer, you get to see a little bit more of the Inquisitors. You get to see the Inquisitors' home base, which is like Casa Inquisitorius or something like that. And then you get to see my man's arm get reattached, his breathing apparatus get put on. Darth Vader is who I'm talking about.
Who we are assuming from the way that the trailer looks that him and Obi-Wan are standing face to face at that time.
Yeah, they did a really good job in trailer number 2, making it look like Obi-Wan was standing directly in front of Vader as he's being pieced together. And
mainly just because the emotion you see on his face.
Yeah, I mean, Ewan McGregor, who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi, if he's not standing in front of Vader at that point, whatever is happening in that scene is fucked, because the emotion in that man's eyes, like, to me, it looks like, holy shit, this is my brother who I did this to, and now look at what he's become. That's what I see in his eyes.
I think what I saw was him thinking, if I didn't have the high ground, that could have been me.
I mean, yeah, but, you know, Anakin definitely would have finished the job. He would have been like, oh, Obi-Wan, you burning? Slip, yep, head gone. You know, I saw this video where, remember in The Rise of Skywalker when Rey grabs the Sith dagger and she's like, horrible things have happened with this weapon. And she's like all torn up about it, but yet when she grabbed, I don't know, Anakin's lightsaber that was used to slaughter
This feels
children.
good.
Yeah,
That's what feels real nice.
She has a vision and it freaks her out, but she never said that, something really bad happened with this. He slaughtered kids and women, children too. Like, I mean, he slaughtered Jedi. He slaughtered probably innocent. Actually, he did slaughter innocent people that he thought were harboring Jedi in the comic books. So he slaughtered a lot of people with that lightsaber.
Oh, a little electric shock, but damn, this one feels good.
The weight is just so balanced. I like it.
I feel like I could slay anybody with this thing.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can.
You probably could. I do have a theory that the new Inquisitor that we're seeing, which is the third sister, she's the only one in the show, from what we've seen from the trailers, who is not in Star Wars Rebels, which takes place about 9 years after this movie.
Which I feel like a lot of people are excited to see her character. Whenever we're watching a lot of the reviews for the trailer, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I feel like there was a lot of people. I couldn't think of the word I was looking for, but a lot of people who were excited to see her and her character. But
I do want to get something out there quick, though. So, I grew up a diehard Star Wars fan. Like, Star Wars was an escape from me during very dark times in my life. And one thing that always bothered me to this day is the bullying online of these actors or actresses based off of them performing a script that was provided to them. If you don't like the show, if you don't like the acting, you don't like the script, take it up with Disney, take it up with the writers. Don't go on Instagram and bully these people to the point where they delete their social medias, because that's happened a lot with Star Wars recently. And Hayden was bullied like crazy for
after
his
the
portrayal.
first two, or first three movies.
Well, first two that he was in, for episode 2 and 3, he was bullied like crazy. People bully him for the sand line. It's like, he didn't write that. George Lucas wanted him to say that dog shit line. I thought Hayden was amazing in episode 2, episode 3, especially episode 3.
Is episode 3 still your favorite?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the fight with Anakin and Obi-Wan.
It was. It's
just
legendary.
It's the longest sword fight to this day in history of cinema. So it was amazing. But don't bully these guys. Hayden has come back after a very long hiatus of wanting nothing to do with Star Wars. He was bullied so bad that it almost destroyed his acting career, because he would go and try to do something else like Jumper, which I thought was a phenomenal movie as well. But he was. People who were bullying him for that were bullying him because of Star Wars. So
it just kept carrying on.
Yeah. And the guy just
basically stop being a dick.
Yeah, don't
people.
be a dick. Because if I see any of our 76 now subscribers comment on one of these videos bullying someone, I'm going to come to your house and kick your ass. Post your address if you bully someone.
He'll do it.
I'll do it.
But anyways, yeah, the show looks like it's going to be incredible. I'm excited to see the face-to-face, whether it be in that scene or another, of Vader and Kenobi.
There's going to be one.
And just see all that kind of unwind and, where it goes. And I was asking you kind of before the show, I feel like we've seen a lot of action in these first 2 episodes. And I kind of thought the same thing with Halo, and I thought a lot of that was going to be stretched out over the series, but everything we saw in that initial trailer was all in the first episode.
Yeah.
Do you feel like what we're seeing in these 2 teaser trailers, that they are this is pretty much going to be like what we're going to see in the first and second episode?
I hope so. And the biggest reason for that is, Halo is 9 episodes. This isn't going to be 9 episodes.
6, if I remember, yeah.
So I hope so.
And I hope they're 56 minutes long every single one.
Yeah, because if they pull this 22-minute shit, if there's an episode less than 30 minutes, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah, it would be pretty disappointing. I'm still going to watch the shit out of it.
Yeah,
but.
And that's one thing I really respected about that Halo series. Each episode was at least 48 minutes long.
Yeah.
Which
Paramount does their shit right, bro.
Yeah. Very quickly off topic, I watched the finale of Halo on Friday. Amazing finale. If you weren't a fan of the entirety of the series, the finale sets up the next season. The finale felt like Halo. The whole show did not feel like Halo, besides the first episode. And then bullshit, Halo. So
it started you off good, kind of probably a lot of character building, I'm assuming, in the middle there. And then, I was telling Jake, and he hates me for it sometimes too, because I hate waiting week by week for a lot of these episodes, but I definitely won't be doing that for Kenobi. But, I hate waiting, so I just wait for them all to come out at once, and then I kind of stream them all together at once to kind of make it feel like a movie, more movie-ish for me. So
if he wants to do his own thing, power to him. Don't come into my house and expect me not to tell you what happened in episode 6 at 38 minutes and 22 seconds, because I'm going to tell you.
I will definitely be watching Kenobi weekly.
Oh, yeah, if you don't, I'm going to tell you spoilers.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
And you know what? Even if I don't, I deserve them at that point.
Yeah,
so
100%. If you're a Star Wars fan and you, like, I had to work, call out.
You get an hour lunch break.
Yeah.
And if not, you get at least 4 15-minute toilet breaks.
And I don't care what profession it is.
Andy gets 2 hours at AT&T.
You're on the phone 90% of your work day anyway. So watch Kenobi, because come that following Monday, when our podcast goes live, there will be spoilers in that bitch.
Yeah,
So,
you can believe for at least the next 6 weeks we're going to be talking about Kenobi.
spoilers every week. This is your warning. There's going to be spoilers every week.
It's going down.
But then, very quickly, let's get off Kenobi. We try to limit our segments here so we don't bore everybody to death. Even though, how can you get bored listening to these two beautiful voices and looking at these faces? But everyone has their prerogative. But Paul just informed me about this new movie coming out on Prime Video called Emergency.
Yeah. I actually was going through today. I was just on Flickster, and I was like checking out new movies that are upcoming, obviously for the podcast. And then I saw this one. It was a Prime Video, which I have Prime, so I saw it, and the tomato meter on it was like 93%. So I was like, all right, I'm intrigued. Let me just watch the trailer. And so I watched it, and it has a lot of comedy in it, and it's just like kind of one of those serious, like, typical party movies. Like, these kids are in college, and they get invited to these parties, and they go out, and they're having a good time, and then, bam, something happens.
Good time gets ruined.
White girl wasted, and white girl down, and these two kids.
Blue girl ruined it for everybody.
And these 3 kids are in a world of trouble trying to figure out what to do with her because they're absolutely terrified to call the cops. And from there, it's kind of their night and how they, figure out and plan on what to do with this girl who ended up in their hands and completely wrecked.
One thing that I think will be really exciting. So the movie seems like Paul said, it's going to be your typical looking party movie, but at the same time, it's kind of tackling a issue that is going on in the country with race right now, where you've got these 2 black kids and this Spanish kid who find a white girl, and they're like, "Oh shit, we got to call the cops," and they're like, "No, do you know what cops do to people like us?"
They're just going to come in here and see 3 brown people with a white girl on the ground. That's not happening.
Yeah. So I don't want to give too many spoilers from the trailer because our delivery of the funny parts of the trailer, they're not going to cut it.
Can I just say one, though?
Go for it.
The one that had me kind of dying laughing was, she's like, "You guys going to the party tonight?" And like, what party? And she's like, "Well, I got a couple extra tickets. I had to kiss so much ass to get these tickets." Guys like, "Damn, I'm glad you didn't get pink eye."
The worst part about that is his friends didn't even laugh. That is a grade A delivered joke. I would have been cracking
I
up.
was laughing for sure when I saw it. I was like, wait, why is nobody else laughing? They did not get the joke. So no, it looks good. I'll check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. It's getting great reviews right now, and I think it launches this Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
So we'll be checking that out, and we'll give you our opinions on it next week. But I think that'll wrap it up for our movie segment and TV shows. Thanks for hanging around, and then we'll see you guys here in a few seconds for our gaming segment.
Gaming.
See you
in a bit, guys.
Gaming. That was a good, who does that? Jabba the Hutt?
No, it's not Jabba. It's the leader of the Gungans.
You saw
a Gungan.
Nice.
That guy.
Welcome back to the MGS podcast, your one-stop shop for movies, games, and sports. Moving in here to our segment, which is going to be games. And today we're going to be talking about the new Arma game and also World War III. So if you guys have tuned in before, I believe it was our second podcast we did. We actually talked about World War III as a alternative to Battlefield and a couple other games. So we're going to talk a little bit more in detail about that today because they've actually got some new stuff we want to kind of catch up on. And then Arma, which is another game that's out there, actually is on PC and Xbox, I believe, for $30 right now.
Yep.
And we'll give you our inputs on that and kind of, see what's going on there in the new World War III games. So,
I like peanut butter.
And jelly.
Peanut butter jelly.
Peanut butter jelly.
Yeah,
peanut
so
butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly and a baseball bat.
So World War III, they actually just had a call with a bunch of content creators last week where they talked about, what's going to be essentially their store within the game.
Right.
Big concern for people with any type of game that has a store is this going to be pay to win? Like, can I buy attachments? Can I buy things to make my gun better? And, just to give an example of that with Warzone, well, Call of Duty in general, you can buy blueprints. So even if you don't have that gun unlocked, if you buy the blueprint, it'll unlock it. Well, at least with that set of attachments that's within the blueprints. And people weren't really a fan of that because you could have a level 1 person come in who hasn't earned shit in this world, and he can buy a bunch of blueprints, and now he's pretty much got everything. So they're going to have an in-game store. They say it's not going to be pay to win at all. It's all going to be cosmetic-only items. I know they did have some issues with the prices that were revealed for some of those items. So, and that's why they wanted to have this call. They wanted to hear from content creators what they thought about the game in the state that it was, what they thought about the store. And with that, they also talked about the release of their open beta on PC. Now, this game will eventually come to console as well. That probably won't be till later this year. But the open beta for PC is looking like it's possibly going to land the end of this month, early June.
Oh, nice. Good stuff.
So it's possibly coming really soon. Now, if you haven't watched, when I was streaming on Twitch before I switched it over to YouTube, I did play some World War III on the stream a couple of times. It's a very Battlefield-like game, but it's got a higher time to kill. But the game, even since we first talked about it in that first podcast, has just made so much progress, especially in the audio. I used to think the gunfire just sounded trash, and now,
I remember you saying that before.
Yeah, and now it sounds great. The directional audio for like the footsteps is getting better. Footsteps are still too loud. It shouldn't sound like King Kong running through a hallway, and it still does, but it is something that they're working on. But overall, the game is just, it's in a really, really, really good place right now, better than it's honestly ever been. And there's a player base now, and it's only people that have access to the closed beta. So the fact that I can get into a match where it's a very limited amount of people is pretty exciting, because once it's free to play on PC, you're going to have all kinds of people that are hopping in.
May make it a little bit worse of an experience right off, whenever everybody else gets in there. But right now, it's probably a lot of people that are more dedicated to the game. Yeah. Have played it back when, and, kind of get a little more experience in there. So.
Well, it's funny, because once I saw that video, I'm like, shit, I got to go play this game. Like, I got to level up. Try to get a... Get a 1-up on these noobs that are about to come in. But thankfully for the noobs, they're doing a wipe. So when the open beta releases, everyone is starting from scratch. So everyone's going to start at the exact same point. So the people who are currently max level in the closed beta, sorry, you're starting over. But they're changing the progression system as well. Like, it does take a very long time to level up in that game, but they're decreasing it by 50%. So it's
it sucks you put in all that time to level up, but at the same time, it kind of puts everybody out on an even keel. You know, like, everybody starts off in the same spot.
And the people that are playing the game now, most of them are veterans of the game anyway, and I'm pretty sure anyone who's still around that game like myself, I don't care. Yeah. I'm just excited to get on it. I hope you can get a PC so you can get on it with me, and you can just bro it up on World War III.
Bro time.
Dude, I just love the gun customization in that game is unmatched. I know I said it in the last podcast that we talked about World War III, but it's only getting better, especially with the introduction of the store where you can get these different cosmetic items. It's everything I wish Battlefield would have been. Like, if you take their vision that they had for that game and give them the money of a AAA developer like DICE had from EA, it would have been one of the best games of all time. I mean, I played Battlefield today.
Yeah, but sometimes that can make a game like do too much, like it goes away from like all the things that they do from the beginning that were good, and then you get all this money, all this funding, and then you start doing all this extra stuff that kind of is overkill, which I think sometimes that's what Battlefield did. I mean, there's, to me, the falling buildings and the little bit of, weather on the maps, but now you got all these tornadoes, which to me is like overkill for the game, so.
Well, Battlefield misses on so many of the simple things now. Do you remember in Battlefield 4, there was a snow map where, like, right in the middle, there's kind of a mountain that has a tunnel going through it.
Yep.
And like there's ice right there, and you can actually shoot through the ice, and then you fall into the water, and that's so cool. Whereas Battlefield 2042 has that giant ice lake, and nothing happens with that water at all. Apparently, there was supposed to be an avalanche on that map, and they took it away. So, and I mean, World War III doesn't have any type of levolution like that. The destruction is very limited. I'd compare it more, closer to Call of Duty in terms of, I mean, we'll just say really no destruction in that game.
What about like doors and stuff like that? I mean, and buildings?
I'm pretty sure every door you can go into, I could be wrong, but
shoot through?
Thinking about it, they're all open.
Oh, okay.
Like if there's a closed door, that means you can't go in there.
Gotcha.
So everything that you can go into, if I recall correctly, the door is open. But the game just feels so fucking good. Like legitimately, and I had to use the F word there because that's the only way that I could describe it, but it feels so good. And I played Battlefield 2042 earlier today. And the crazy thing is, Battlefield 2042 left me with an urge to play World War III.
Really?
And it should be the other way around.
Right, yeah.
Like, that should not be happening.
And, I mean, it's new, too, so you know that it's there, so you're like, man, I want to hop on that.
Yeah.
Let's see what else, they have that's new. And
it just, it's crazy to me that, Battlefield, a reputable built franchise, that they built an identity on, these squad-based game modes, class-based system, levolution and destruction, and then they're like, I got an idea. Let's get rid of all of that.
That's exactly what they did.
What the fuck?
But the people love it. Exactly. Take it out.
Get rid of it. It's funny, and you and I kind of joked about this before. Remember how, I mentioned a lot of people with 2042 complain about not having voice chat?
Right.
And, they're like, okay, fine. Calm down, fine. We'll add it into the game. Not a single fucking person that I've played with has used that voice chat. And it was
gone for so long.
Yeah, and it was the same way with all the old Battlefield games. How often did you hear a random squad member talk? It didn't happen.
Everybody's always in their own party, so you can't hear anything going on anyways, unless you're getting on there and playing single. Because like what you did today, you want to communicate with your squad, but usually it's me and you playing, and we're in even our own private chat.
Well,
so.
I will give credit to the squad that I played with earlier today, by the way. They'd go down, and they'd ping the enemy. So it's like, I jumped down, and, he keeps pinging over and over again. I was able to find the enemy, and then I revive him. I went down, and they would ping me like, hey, I'm coming to revive you. So the squad I played with earlier was dope.
Maybe it's too much to ask, but...
For medics to revive?
Yeah, please, God. Medics, you are a medic. Go revive me. I don't know if it's too much to ask, just to know, so if you get on there and play single and you're going in a one-on-one, you'd think that, the game would automatically put you into a squad with other people who are not grouped up and going in and playing together.
Yeah.
So that way you have the opportunity to chat with people. But usually they just throw you in, and then you're in there with a squad of 4 who are in their own private party, and you have nobody to talk to, communicate with.
That's the great thing about PC. So let's say you and I are in an Xbox party or a Discord party while I'm playing on PC. I can still hear them talk. And then I've got a separate button that I push to talk in-game.
Oh, okay.
So I can actually talk in both. So, the guy that rezzed me earlier, I think I was in Discord just waiting to see if someone would join to play with me, and nobody came. The guy I was playing with earlier, once he did the call out, and I killed the guy, and then I went and revived him, I'm like, yo, man, good spotting. That was some grade A shit. Which, World War III, there isn't a revive system in World War III, so when you die, you can't ping the enemy afterwards.
So you exit the game and get into another one, or do you have to?
No. When you die, I mean you respawn, but you're not crawling waiting for someone to revive you.
Gotcha.
So when you die, you just have to
almost
respawn.
Like a team deathmatch style system there.
So there's no revive mechanic. It is something that I hope they add because I just feel like that's so important, especially with Battle Royale being as big as it is now. People are growing used to having that revive mechanic, which is something Battlefield has always had. But I feel like more games need to incorporate that, just even in team deathmatch. Fuck it, who cares if it's 8v8? Let this dude come and stick me in the chest with some adrenaline so that I can keep going. So that is one thing I hope they change about World War III. I hope they add that revive mechanic. Other than that, the game's in a pretty damn good state. Audio still needs some more tweaking in terms of the footsteps and the actual directional audio, trying to figure out where people are at. But, like, if you had PC right now, today, I would pick it over 2042.
Getting in there and playing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're like 2.5, 3 weeks and counting, and I'll be up on that PC game. And
Yeah, like 2.5, 3 weeks from next year.
from next year,
Yeah.
Next year.
No, I hear you, man.
Dude, I'm right there, bro. I'm
I
right there.
hear
If
you.
my wife is watching this, I'm just going to buy that shit.
Jasmine? Let my boy. You let my boy get that PC.
And I know how much you love Jake, so I'll just have Jake buy it, and then we got to pay Jake.
I'll buy it, yeah.
And now you're forced to
You
pay
gotta
Jacob.
pay me back.
So, yeah, there it is.
Otherwise, my kid can't eat.
Yeah.
So,
And we don't want Camden to starve.
yeah. Are you that cruel?
You monster.
But, you know, that'll kind of wrap it up with World War III, just because the next topic is going to be a little bit bigger because of what it can turn into. But I'll keep everybody updated with the open beta release. As soon as there's an announcement, you know, I'll post it like on our Instagram and our Facebook page so people know when they can get into it. Again, it's going to be PC only for now. They do plan on porting to console hopefully later this year. Which brings us into a game that in the past has only been available on PC.
Which now they're potentially, well, they are doing cross-platform.
Yeah, now it's on Xbox. And the reason it's not on PS5 is because it's a game preview, so it's early access, and PlayStation does not allow early access games.
Okay. And you said the game is $30, right?
It's $30. It's Arma Reforger. For those of you who don't know, Arma 2, Arma 3 are these very realistic military simulation games that are on PC. I mean, we're talking extremely large maps, extremely large-scale battles with all types of vehicles, drones, bombs. Anything you can possibly think of that wouldn't crash a video game is in, especially Arma 3. So they went a little more mainstream to appeal to a larger consumer base, where now Arma Reforger, which is available on PC. You know, we're not even looking at anything on here, but it bugged me that it locked anyway. I got my tablet here.
I keep thinking the camera shuts down whenever it does, but I'm like, fuck.
But, so Arma Reforger, it's available on Xbox One and on PC. It runs off of a new engine, but it is completely different than Arma 1, 2, and 3. So if you're expecting to play an Arma game, you are going to be greatly disappointed because this is a mainstream. It's a game to cater to controller players. Anyone who's played Arma before knows that you can't possibly play it with a
I
controller.
was going to say, it's like 26 keys or something like that?
Yeah, at least 26 keys that
Last
you're
time I
using.
checked, there's like 13 on my Xbox controller.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you can hold two of them at the same time. That's another one.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's still not enough.
Not close.
It's a very large map. I think they said it's like 5 kilometers squared. So it's a huge map. It's on a new engine that's also being used for DayZ, which is the zombie survival game. But the engine looks beautiful. The water.
Say the graphics on it look pretty damn amazing. So.
Yeah, the character models. Like I know when you pointed out, you're like, oh, it's not quite as good as Battlefield 2042, but that's just because of the character models. The character models, for being completely honest, don't look very good. They look very robotic, especially as they're moving.
Herp-a-derp-a-derp.
Like it that aspect doesn't look very good, but like the textures within the environment, the water looks amazing. Best water I've seen in a game so far, with the exception of like games that are currently being developed with Unreal Engine 5. Best water up until then. So 3 weeks from now, when
So go check out that water in Arma because it looks fantastic.
Water in Arma Reforger.
You want to dive right in.
But there's currently 2 game modes. There's one game mode that's, Conquest from Battlefield. Ground War from Call of Duty. It's very similar to that, where you have certain objectives that you want to capture and maintain. The other enemy can come and capture them, and you're kind of just running this line between 3 or 4 objectives and trying to
the map
capture them.
looks massive.
It's huge.
I mean, the island that's there, I was actually, when we were watching the trailer, and the gameplay, it's just that one strip that goes through, and I was asking you, I was like, can you go everywhere? Because that's a lot of different types of terrain, like, there's huge mountains and...
So, You talking about the road reminded me. I do actually have.
I thought I said something embarrassing.
No. I actually have a couple of Arma stories because I did buy the game. I downloaded it. I played it on day one. Servers were they were so bad on day one. I did finally get into a game. It was my first match. This game had been live for an hour. 1 hour. I get in. I was the first one in on my team, and then a bunch of people joined. The lobby did fill. It was 32 people total, 16 on each team.
On that big of a map, that's it?
For that game mode that I went into. So, a guy hops in, and I'm in this Jeep, and I'm kind of just fucking around. And he's like, all right, squad leader, where are we going? And, I'm not thinking of it. Okay, who the fuck's he talking to? I don't know.
You're the squad leader.
Squad leader. And I'm like, are you talking to me? He's like, yeah, you're squad leader. I'm like, dude, I've been playing this game for 8 seconds. I wouldn't call myself a fucking squad leader at this point.
Is it labeled anywhere where you know that you're the squad leader?
Not that I could see.
No?
The game still needs a lot of work at this point. I'm going to throw that out there now. It needs a lot of work to the point where I actually refunded the game. I was within my 2-hour window. I refunded it because it's not there yet, and I can't justify spending even the $30 on it in its current state. But then, eventually the lobby filled up, and, I'm in this Jeep. I've got, 5 guys jumped into it. We're having a party.
Yeah, 5 guys. Huh?
Yeah, burgers and fries. So then another Jeep pulls up next to me, and it's funny because you can, turn your character. When you turn, their head turns. So, Jeep pulls up next to me. I turn my head. I look. He turns his head, and I'm like, I'm going to take you off the line. And then me and this dude literally start racing to the point where the people in our Jeep are like, come on, man, take it seriously. And then, you got a handbrake and stuff, so I start drifting around a corner, and I'm like, I wonder if you know, I'll be in Tokyo. If you said it, then you mean it, then you know you have to go fast and furious. They didn't like that very much either.
I was going to say, they're probably pissed off at this point.
Yeah, but just to give you an example of how cool, some of the mechanics are in the game, though. So, let's say you want to get out of the car, which could also get you fucking killed. You're looking down at that door handle. You have to physically look at the door handle and then click open door. And then, when you get in the car, you have to look at the ignition and turn the ignition on.
You have to actually angle your guy down
and turn the ignition on. Unless I was doing it wrong. No, if anyone has played it, let me know. But I could have been doing it wrong. But yeah, it starts, and it's funny because, this is Cold War era. And, it's like... I'm like, fuck.
Has anyone got a spark plug?
Yeah. Can someone give me a push start? Which brings me to the next point because, manual cars, you could push start them. Dude, you see him shifting the gears. It's automatic.
Yeah.
But you actually see him shifting through the gears. Even when you go into reverse, you see him go over to reverse.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's pretty cool. I'm going to tell you
just
what
the little
moment,
details,
Yeah, but the moment that killed it for me, same match, we end up taking our first point, and we're moving on to the next one. I get out of the Jeep, and I'm going on foot because I'm sick of Mr. fucking Cellulitis, I think that was his name, yelling at me. So I'm going on my own. Fuck squad lead, I don't care, I'm doing my thing. So I go around this house, and I can hear the footsteps of other people. So I start, doing this really slow crouch walk, y'all ain't gonna hear me today. I turn the corner of the house, and I see 4 guys all sitting there aiming down by our people. I'm like, yeah, ready for this motherfucking massacre that's about to happen. I ready my AK. I aimed.
Should have dropped a nade in there.
I don't know how.
Haven't quite got that far.
It wasn't G.
Remember, 36 seconds into the game at this point.
And it wasn't G, which is typically the grenade button.
Oh.
So I aim down sights, and I'm like, it's about to go down. It took 30 fucking shots to kill the first guy. I'm 5 feet from this fucking guy. Thankfully,
did you shoot him in the head?
No, just torso.
See, body armor, bro.
It gets better. Let me tell my story. So I shoot him 30 times, full magazine. I reload, and as I'm reloading, I'm like, great, I'm dead. There's still 3 other guys standing here, but they all look the other way, so the directional audio must be fucked because they couldn't find me. So the next guy,
or their headsets are on backwards,
or that, yeah, that happened to me once, yeah. So then the next guy, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go for the head. I clearly just made the Thor mistake on this last one. Should have gone for the head. 7 fucking shots to the head, and then he plops over. In the death animation, it's like they're holding the gun, and then they just fall, but they're still in the same position. And
he might still be able to shoot me. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was trash. So I did end up killing all 4, but like there were some things.
6
that
mags
me.
later.
Yeah. There are some things that bother me. One, like when you're shooting them, there's no particle effects. There's no like bullet effects. No blood. There's nothing that shows that they are getting hit by this bullet.
Oh, that sucks.
So it didn't. We talk about being immersed, the immersiveness of video games, and that completely takes me out of it. Now, about a minute later, I saw this guy at range, and I killed him, and he actually had his arms flailed up, and he fell backwards. So it might just be that the mechanics are flawed right now, where what should have happened didn't happen, because I did see an actual death animation the next guy that I killed.
And say, was it because they were too close to a wall, so the animation
maybe
plopped over?
I wish I would have clipped it, but like when it happened, I'm just like, the fuck was that?
What just happened?
Are they dead, or did he just lay down? I'm a little confused.
Is he prone right now?
Yeah. So the game needs a crap ton of work. But what excites me about it?
But it's crazy though, because like watching the trailer, like it looks like it's like ready to go.
Yeah, they made a good trailer.
Yeah.
I
mean, you watch it and like we'll have it right here. But it just looks like it was ready to go. So I'm surprised that you would not have like, hit markers and those type of things for the game.
So the hit markers I knew wouldn't happen because Arma doesn't use hit markers because, the realism. Yeah. But typically there's, there's a lot of times there's blood that you can see, but at least show me like just some type of animation on their body. Like
for
even
sure.
Just like dust shooting up to see that I'm hitting that guy. I know like, countries like China, they don't allow the blood in video games. So a lot of games will change that to make it like dust, or they'll make it blue or like some crazy color like that. Like, I don't know if you ever watch, PUBG mobile videos on.
Yeah. I know.
And if it's blue, that's because they're in China.
I never knew that.
But. Yeah. They don't allow that stuff there. But the purpose of this game, it wasn't really to create the next Arma game. It was to create the next Arma game, which is Arma 4. So they created Arma Reforger. They're showing people the new engine. They're showing people the potential of the game. But the great thing is they've provided their source code in-game so that modders can literally take every aspect of this game and make their own game with it. Which, if that doesn't sound exciting to you, just know that that's where PUBG came from. That's where Battle Royale was created. DayZ was created from an Arma mod. PUBG was created from an Arma mod. The current first-person shooter and the evolution it's gone through was because of Arma.
Hey, we don't have the imagination to make this game everything you want it to be, but you can go out and create this game.
Yeah. We're paying.
We're just supplying you the map.
Here, so you do the rest on your own time.
We'll supply you a nice map. You just go out there and create the content that you guys want.
So the second that I see one of the content creators on YouTube that I follow post a video of the first huge mod that someone has made for this game, I'll probably buy the game again. Because again, it's a Cold War shooter. Weapons are limited. There's no customization.
I mean, obviously, being on Xbox, I know that you said it'll be on cross-platform there. Xbox right now, PlayStation down the road. But it'll be nice to have, obviously, a different game. But then once, the PC comes, it'll be nice to have, like, such an open variety of different games that are out there to be able to play these, like, types of games with you. So,
Squad.
Yeah, it'll be, yes, I know that's going to be, like, the first thing we're going to play. I know you've talked about that. Like, the day you get it, we'll set it up.
You're going to hate it so bad the first day.
I'm going to hate a lot of things at first, though, because I'm going to be trying to do the keyboard and mouse. I don't want to even use my controller.
I'm terrified
of me playing keyboard and mouse.
Like, how long is it going to take you to loot?
I mean, it could take, like, 30 minutes, But I feel like so like a lot of times like for Apex, I loot, everything's different color coordinated and all of that. But as opposed to like,
hold on, I'm still looting.
As opposed to like your war games, your more realistics, I feel like a lot of the ammunitions and stuff, they make it a lot easier. You could pick up and go and you pick up. I don't know. I don't know. It's different.
I hear you knocking. I'm gonna let you in. I'm going to kick your ass out that door and tell you to practice. Okay? Practice,
But
practice, practice.
I'm going to go straight to keyboard and mouse, though, whenever I go to PC. I don't want to do the controller, because I know if I do the controller, it's like, well, this is what I like. I'm going to stay with it. But if I get the PC, I'm going to go all the way.
I was super stubborn converting to mouse and keyboard when I first got my PC built. My friend Chris, we were playing Destiny 2 together at the time. I remember he just showed me the difference in recoil between the two, and he explained to me, like, do it in Destiny. We don't play a lot of player versus player. We typically just do the open environment versus, the AI. He's like, this is a great game to practice on. There's no pressure. If the enemies are easy to kill, so practice on this. And I practiced, and dude, now it's weird to use a controller. I hate it. So, and I mean, there's a lot, like, you and I can jump right back into Battlefield and go into the offline mode.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different portals we can go in there and do it that way. So that's probably going to be the first place I probably practice.
Oh, yeah.
Because there'll be enough keys in there to get used to the keyboard, and then
Just press any key. Can't find any key.
I just want to do this spin.
Oh, you... I like to, when I'm playing with my console friends or my controller friends, I'm like, hey, Paul, look what I can do. And I just start spinning my mouse, and my guy is just spinning in these crazy circles, and it's funny. Mouse and keyboard is, we've talked about this in a podcast too, the difference between mouse and keyboard versus controller. But, T-Bone had mentioned to me the other night when we were playing Apex, he's like, oh, it's so easy for you PC people because, you have a button that you can push to just turn you around 180. No, we don't. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you do because I see people turning hella fast. No, bro, that's just...
Is he not on the PC?
He is, but he uses a controller.
So why would he say PC players? You are a PC player. You just choose to be on...
Most people, when they say PC players, like, even though they're on PC, they're playing with a controller, they're console players. Like, that's why they're still using a controller.
They're just using it for the graphics and the multiple games.
So if you're using a controller on PC, I'm sorry, you're not part of the master race. You are a console peasant. And you deserve to be burned at the stake.
Jesus Christ.
What? I'm trying to motivate.
Violent mother lover.
I'm a dad. I gotta be harsh with people.
Your kid.
Yeah. But before we got crazy off topic there, so Arma Reforger is the pathway to Arma 4. Now, Arma 4 will probably not be on console because it's going to be a continuation of the Milsim game, which is why I think they created Reforger, so console people can experience Arma to an extent. And then when Arma 4 comes out, which they announced the game, but there's no date yet. It would be late next year at the earliest. But I'm going to be on that shit like crazy because Arma is exciting. You can build your own crazy games in Arma too, where like, you can create scenarios where, you have like 100 AI here, 100 AI here, and they go in at a certain point. You can create missions and stuff. It's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting stuff. But yeah, once you get the PC, man, you better hit OBT and get some extra money because I got a list of games I'm gonna need you to buy. Oh Lord,
getting some brag.
Lord, my God. So, before we move on to our sports segment, a quick game I wanted to very briefly touch on. There is a game. It might be on console. I'll have to double check this. It's called Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt. It is a vampire battle royale game, third person. You have abilities. You can climb up any wall. If you need to heal and you don't have like a blood bag, you can find a human walking around and go suck their blood and heal. And there's cool abilities. The movement is amazing. It's actually a super fun game. It's free. I'll put some gameplay up here just very briefly so that you.
I remember you were telling all the guys in the chat the other day to download it.
Yeah,
I was like, man, I don't have a PC.
I downloaded it like 6 months ago or something when we were looking for something else to play, and I downloaded it. I told everyone then to download it. Nobody did. But then last week, T-Bone's like, "Hey man, have you heard of this game?" Yeah.
I told you to download it.
I told you how to download it. So then T-Bone downloaded it. I re-downloaded it. We haven't played together yet, but it's if you're just looking for something different to play, try it out. It's free to play. Again, it's Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt. Crazy name, but Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt. Free to play battle royale where you are a vampire and you get to murder.
And if you guys got any games you guys want us to try out, let us know. And we're going to YouTube it first and see if it's even worth it. But, yeah, no, if you have your opinions on some other games that, that interest you, that you think that we might want to try out, then let us know in the comments, and we'll check those out.
More than likely I've played it.
And then, again, as always, to end our gaming segment, make sure you check us out every night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We're getting on. We're streaming. And usually right now we've been on Apex, and we've been doing the Call of Duty. I think that's coming to an end too, right?
Trash. Yeah.
Which will be coming in the Operations Monarch is coming to an end, so might not be playing that too much longer. But again, definitely come check us out on the stream. Chat with us if you guys have any questions you guys want us to answer when we're on the stream. Feel free to ask. But that'll wrap it up for our gaming segment.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in a few for
the gun show.
Our sports segment.
Oh, yeah, the sports segment. Yeah.
Which is coming up next.
Peace up. And this week, what's coming up, Paul? You tell them.
This week coming out, big movie wise, technically TV show is going to be Kenobi.
Wow, there was like no enthusiasm in that. Did you see that? He wasn't like Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was just, oh yeah, this show, it's called Kenobi.
Can we restart this?
Do you want to?
Please. I felt like so out of place because after I did my thing, like you didn't even ask me how I was doing, and I was like ready, prepared to like, oh, do it fantastic.
I didn't ask you how you were doing, did I? Okay.
Just went straight into my muscles. So sorry for that.
You sounded so sad.
I just was like out of it. I was like, I'm so lost in this whole beginning right now.
Can we start over? That's making it in between the segments. Welcome back to the MGS Podcast, your one-stop shop for movies, games, and sports. We have reached the final segment of the podcast, which is sports. I guess you could call it the NBA playoff segment of the podcast, because that's really the only thing going on in the world of sports. Besides you NHL fans, I know the NHL playoffs are going on. Paul and myself, we know absolutely nothing about hockey. I mean, I know some about hockey, but I don't follow
and the playoffs
hockey.
are fun to watch. I mean,
Yeah.
There's always a lot of action in them, and I know there's a lot of people out there who enjoy watching the playoffs, and obviously got the Lightning in it, so close to Orlando here, so maybe we can see them go on and win another championship. Might be pretty cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't care. I mean, the only thing I know about hockey is the Mighty Ducks. So,
quack, 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 quack.
Quick to touch on the Mighty Ducks because it has to do with sports and movies. The one guy, don't know his name, that played in the Mighty Ducks suffered a huge drug problem.
Goldberg,
yeah. And I mean, at one point you see a picture of him, and it's like, no, that's not him.
He's recovered.
That's not him. He is recovered, and he looks great. And that's what I wanted to quick say
better.
since we were on the topic of hockey and the Mighty Ducks. He's doing fantastic, and I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, because he looked like he was 80 years old.
Him. When I first saw the picture,
it's hard to
I'm like,
believe. That's what
no
drugs
that's him,
do to people. Like it's.
Yeah, I mean, see, all I'm saying, 33 going on 34, 33 or 32 going on 33. I forgot how old I was for a second. No drugs. We look great. I mean, I shoot heroin every now and then, but I do it between the toes, so it takes longer to get to the face.
Do a little bit of steroids every now and then.
Yeah, that's why we said this is the gun show segment.
2 tickets to the gun show.
But we've got the Warriors going up against the Mavs. They're up 2 games right now. They're currently playing the Mavericks in the first quarter.
They should be up by 3 games by how many points they won those first 2 games. So.
Yeah, that's true. And the funny thing is, I think it was game 1. At one point, I think they were down by 15, 20. And then next thing you know, they were up by 20. And it's like, what the fuck just happened?
I don't even like to quote Stephen A., but Stephen A. did say or it might have been even in the beginning of this year, he was like, look, if Klay Thompson comes back healthy, Warriors are making it to the conference finals. And he's like, and I'll even put it on the book right now that I think they win it all. So
Yeah, I mean,
to call that, from back then, because they actually have a lot of young, stars now over there, with their team. So they've got a lot of people out of the draft and
yeah.
kind of really built a great supporting cast over there for Curry, for Green, and now healthy Klay Thompson. So.
And it's kind of the beauty of basketball. And, the sports that have their playoffs as a multi-game playoff series. Because, in the NFL, in the playoffs, if you have a bad game, it doesn't matter if you were the better team overall. If you had a bad game, you're done. Whereas, a best-of-7 series like in the NBA, you're allowed to have a bad game, and typically the better team will prevail.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to piss a lot of people off here. But if the Warriors win it, Kevin Durant who?
I don't think that's not going to piss me off. Now, did Kevin Durant
Did he win
play
it? Did he
huge
win it in
part?
OKC? No. Had a great cast there.
Yeah.
Did he win it at the Warriors? He did. Did he even do anything with the Nets yet? He didn't.
But you have to remember though, as Kevin Nash gets older, his
Kevin
ankle. Did I say Kevin Nash?
You did.
Kevin Durant. As Kevin Durant gets older, I was thinking of Ash, which is.
I thought you were thinking of Steve Nash,
But
and then
as Kevin Durant gets older, his ankles are getting ashier, and he has to put more lotion on them, which kind of makes him slip in his shoes a little bit. Which is why, like,
how he
last
tore
year,
his Achilles.
how he tore his Achilles. It's how he, stepped on the line in that shot last year against the Bucks, which the Bucks were allowed.
That was such a
to
beautiful
close
shot.
Yep. But that's what happens.
And he almost made it again beyond the 3-point line, and it rimmed out.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that was.
I was okay with it. Speaking of a really, really dear friend of mine, his name is Eric. He told me he wanted the Celtics to beat the Bucks. So Eric, if you're watching this, go fuck yourself. It's that simple. But yeah, the Warriors, I'm pretty confident they're going to close this out in 4. The Mavs just don't have the full supporting cast to take on a team.
Well, I think I told you
like
last
Golden
week. It was
State.
Luka really running the show
Kinda
over
like
there,
Dirk,
and
yeah.
kind of like how Dirk was back in the day. But I know it's 2 games, but it's 2 games against the Warriors. But if the Warriors take this first game at home and they go up 3-0, it's going to be a really, really tough road and tough hill to climb for them. So
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they've got the series in the bag. I don't see them coming back from even the 2-0 deficit that they're at, because there's no way that they're going to beat.
Oracle Arena is a hard place to go in and win. It is one of the loudest arenas. I think it is the loudest arena in the NBA. Especially when it comes to playoffs, and I think those guys are still trying to prove everybody wrong that even when Durant left, like, we can do it without Durant. We did it without Durant. We are still a dynasty.
Yeah.
Like, we still have Coach Kerr. We still have Klay Thompson. We still have Chef Curry, and we still have Draymond Green, and those 3 guys have been there for so long and held true to that team. They are loyal to Golden State, and they're there to still prove people like, hey, we still are the biggest threat in this league.
I saw this, of course, complete rumor. There is nothing to back this up, but people are suggesting LeBron going to Golden State, and I do have respect for LeBron James right now, but if he goes to Golden State, it's gone. I have zero respect for the man.
Yeah, I mean,
because at that point he's truly going to a team. Like, I know he has said he wants to play with Steph, but if you go to Golden State the year after they won a championship, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point that would be ring chasing for sure, just to solidify already great legacy that he has. But I mean, I don't see it happening at all. Just because I know that's not where his son's gonna go, with them, winning the championship. I don't know
he won't
where.
be allowed to be the coach of Golden State.
Yeah, no, but
So-
I don't think he wants all that anymore, man. I think he's done with it. I know he said this year in the offseason he's going to have zero to do with the front office and the moves they make. And we joked about it. Well,
That's
you already
because he
threw away.
told them the moves to make.
Yeah, you already threw away everything, that was young and great about that, team, because you wanted to go with a little bit more older and veteran players. But I don't see that happening. I think he'll be in LA, and I think if anybody decides, it would be LA trading him in some way for maybe a younger cast. But I don't even know that would happen. So. Yeah, definitely a rumor, and just wanted to kind of stir the pot with a lot of the LeBron lovers. So.
Of course.
But yeah, so and then over on the East side, I mean, obviously the Bucks out. We have the Celtics and Heat series going on. It's actually a good one. It's 2-1. Heat went and took the first game in Boston.
Yep.
And then you now have the series, 2-1 now with that win. So Miami up. And it'll be interesting to see, if they go and it goes 3-1 and they go back to Miami. Miami's another tough place to play in, and we'll see what Tatum and the supporting cast over there can do to even that back out.
Yeah, because Jimmy Butler, he did go out with a knee injury in Game 3. However, they have said he is not going to miss any playing time, so he'll be back.
Yeah, Jimmy said he's not going to miss no playing time.
But he'll be back. We don't know the true extent of what happened. I feel like when it comes to playoff ball in any sport, they're going to kind of hide the severity of certain injuries to, they're going to downplay him so that their star can play. They're going to go up to Jimmy and say, "Can you play?" He's going to be like, "Yeah." They're going to be like, "All right."
And even if he said he didn't play, remember that huge contract we gave you?
Yeah.
You're going to fucking play.
Yeah, you're going to fucking
You really don't have a choice at this point, Jimmy.
Yeah. So he'll be back, for Game 4. And I don't know, man. I see the Heat taking that series. Like I said, I see it being Golden State, Miami.
You know who I think doesn't get enough credit over there?
In Miami?
Mm-hmm. Is that team. So when LeBron and Wade and everybody kind of separated, had everything that happened with Chris Bosh that happened. But is their coach Eric Spoelstra?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? He didn't let that team sink to where they were nobody. They kind of hung around. They made the right moves, and I know that has to do a lot with Pat Riley, who runs the organization over there. But as a coach, I don't think he gets enough credit, and I think he's really kind of solidifying himself as a top coach in the league. Making it to the finals in the bubble, and then still kind of lingering around and getting a good supporting cast there for Jimmy Butler. I mean, you got Tyler Hero, who's coming off shooting great threes off the bench. And just a good team that he's put together. And, obviously we see him in the Eastern Conference Finals and with a chance to go to the NBA Finals, which, going up 2-1 right now against a really good Boston team. The coach is putting together the game plan and, the plan for them to be successful against a really good Boston team. So, I think that he doesn't get enough credit over there. I think everybody kind of focuses on it just being the players and Pat Riley, but he's been there coaching and still has that team being very successful. So
I brought him to 4 NBA championships in I think it was 2K18.
Yeah, all right.
Several. Yeah, his character model was terrible.
Yeah.
So I'll always remember how bad it was. It's funny when Paul and I first started doing this podcast, we kind of sat down and talked about, obviously we know each other very well. We're very close friends. We're best friends. We're brothers. This is my soulmate.
Best man at my wedding.
He was the best man at his wedding. I've got the plaque.
He cried during the speech he gave
cried.
to me.
Oh, I cry all the time. Don't flatter yourself. I cry all the time. Okay. But we actually kind of talked about our knowledge in the different sports, just to kind of so we know when we have to rebound off of one another. Rebound. We're talking about basketball, and Paul actually had said, he's like, I might need you to step in a little bit more when it comes to basketball. But then this guy starts just spitting out basketball knowledge like this. And, I mean, come on now. You know this, man.
You know this, man?
Oh, off topic. If you want to be on the MGS podcast, shoot us a message. We can have you come here in our, quote-unquote studio. We can also have you video chat, and we can have that on the podcast as well. But if you want to come on the podcast, if there's a certain topic you want to hit on, let us know. We welcome anyone on the podcast as long as you're not a complete piece of shit. You can come chill with us. So that being said, though, one thing I wanted to touch on while we were talking about sports is the XFL. Now, the XFL is something we have seen come and go 2 times now.
And not just the XFL. We've seen other.
Yeah, what was it? The AAF.
Is that the one you went
Alliance
to?
Of football?
Is that the one you went to at UCF? The games you were going to, and then
it was
got
fun.
canceled.
Dude,
yeah,
I was so excited when the AAF came around because we, I am true to my teams. The Green Bay Packers. I am never going to be a fan of a football team, an NFL team, other than the Green Bay Packers.
Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, you do root for me.
I cherish them in my heart, but I'm not a fan. I hope they win for you.
You're a fan through me, right?
I'm a fan through you. We can say that. But,
So
the Packers, obviously, that's my team. The Milwaukee Bucks, that's my team. The Milwaukee Brewers, that's my team. When the Alliance of American Football came, we had the Orlando... Do you remember what they were called? I just remember, when we were there, they're like, take aim! Ah! It was really stupid, but it was fun.
I don't remember, was rap... for some reason, I want to say it started with an R, but I...
No. I'll figure it out. I don't want to think about it for too long because we were sitting here. Let me Google it quick.
But yeah, so, I mean, even with that, it's tough because it's an expensive thing to do. I don't think people understand all the money that goes in behind the scenes for paying the players, the stadiums, because they don't have stadiums built, so they have to basically rent stadiums, so you see a lot of these things fail because of the funding.
Yeah.
And that's the huge thing for it.
Well,
so
the thing that pissed me off about the AAF was, the owners had said, we have enough funding. If this thing completely flops and we get no fans, we've got funding for 5 years. That's what they said. Funding for 5 seasons of AAF in hopes that it would get off the ground.
And they didn't even make it through the first season.
They didn't even make it through the first season.
I forget, though. Was that because of COVID?
No.
So didn't that all go on right before COVID?
Yeah, because I went to the last home game for Orlando. So I think it was in 2019 when it crumbled, but it would have been spring because it was the spring league.
Apollos.
The Orlando Apollos. But I went to 2 Orlando Apollos games, and honestly, I enjoyed it so much. The atmosphere was great. And February 2019. So
which was the same year as COVID, though.
No, 2020 is when COVID hit.
No, December of 2019 is when it happened.
Well, yeah, but they stopped playing in March of 2019, so it was pre-COVID.
Oh, okay, all right, cool.
Son of a bitch.
My bad.
This fucking guy. But yeah, I went to 2 AAF games and I loved it. I love to have a local football team that I could go and watch. Tickets were cheap. The atmosphere was great. The hot dogs were really bad, but they were only like $2, so it was worth it.
Man, that's a good price.
Yeah, hot dogs are always better at a ball game too. But they didn't make it. They made it, I think, 7 or 8 games into the season. Technically, the Orlando Apollos, I think we were 7-1. So, they posted on their Instagram we're AAF champions. Ah! Anything that happens at UCF, they think they're the champions of something.
Yeah.
And that's just science. But
bring on Alabama.
Right, yeah. Right. So AAF flopped. XFL.
John's going to be so pissed about that statement.
We love you, John. XFL around the same time, I think it might have been the year prior. No, the XFL was during COVID.
And
that flopped. It could have been because of COVID, but at the same time, their advertising wasn't there. Same with the AAF. Their advertising wasn't there.
Do you think the NFL has anything to do with that, though?
Oh, I'm sure they have a lot to do with it.
You don't think that they somehow stop funding?
Yeah. Well, and they've got the contracts with NBC, Fox, CBS, ESPN,
NFL Network.
And yeah, well, obviously. So yeah, I'm sure they had a lot to do with it. But now, the XFL has a hope that was just born into it out of solid muscle.
Dude, did you pick up some weights today? Because you've been flexing the entire podcast.
Man, I just I keep looking over at the camera and you see how the sleeve is kind of tight right there. I'm like, damn, bruh. I'm looking swole right now. I just have to hide the belly. But, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has become part owner of the XFL. That happened last year. Might have even been the year prior. No, it was last year. So now there is a really, really, really good financial backing to the XFL.
Is billionaire WWE...
I believe WWE sold it to multiple investors.
Okay, so what's Vince McMahon is no longer a part of it?
I believe he's not. I believe they sold it to multiple investors, The Rock being one of them. The other names, I'm not sure. We didn't prepare at all to talk about the XFL we're on break, and I'm like, dude, we should bring up the XFL because football is my sport, and I think Paul can say with confidence football is his sport too. We like other sports, of course. I love other sports, but football is my sport. It's the sport I know most about. It's the sport I enjoy watching the most. And, you know, the dream of having a spring league after the NFL is over, you know, basketball fans get 83 games. Baseball fans get 489 games. Like, soccer fans get 7,262 in a year, which doesn't even make sense.
They never stop over in Europe. I mean,
so you know, football, we've got, well, now 17 regular season games. It was 16. We've got preseason games. Nobody watches those because you get second and third and fourth teams that play. But I want a spring league where they don't just throw in the towel. The AAF would have made it, I feel, based off of that crowd I saw in Orlando. Orlando was doing something right. Maybe the other teams weren't advertising the way that Orlando was, because, you know, you could go anywhere in Orlando and see a banner, watch your Orlando Apollos.
Yeah, I mean, there's shirts and all that stuff all over.
Yeah.
I mean, the nice thing, though, is, I mean, I don't know where everybody else put their fans and what stadiums they're putting them in, but UCF being one of the largest college campuses
it's a beautiful stadium.
And the entirety of how many people go to school there, is also a great thing for them because, you know, you get that in, they probably give out free tickets. So, you know, going to school or discounts and stuff like that. And, you know, you get a lot more people involved in at that point.
And, you know, I didn't even think about that. You know, you get your student base involved.
Yeah, because I doubt if there was a team in Alabama's going to let them use their football field. Like, it's just not going to happen. I mean, I'm pretty sure Bright House Networks or Spectrum owns the stadium over there. So, you know, they might have some rights there to allow those type of things to happen. But, yeah, so, I mean, it was a great way for Orlando to be able to get all of those people in there and kind of fill that stadium, or even, you know, to fill it to a potential that was good enough for, you know, the team.
Yeah, and,
so,
you know, all I'm going to say is, you know, Dwayne, you know, friend of the family, you know, don't give up. You know, if your other financial backers and the other owners are like, all right, guys, we got to throw in the towel, you bring them to my house.
I'll tell you what'll get it going. Create a fantasy league. Get some fantasy XFL.
Speaking of, have you seen that fan-owned football league that Johnny Manziel is playing in right now?
Is that the one that's like fan-controlled?
Yeah.
I have only seen like highlights.
Yeah, same here. I've watched some
Instagram
highlights
and stuff
I'm like,
that.
okay, that's dumb. Like anything Johnny Manziel.
Because Terrell Owens is in there too, right?
Yeah, Terrell Owens is in there. Yeah.
I love it because every time he scores a touchdown, even in that, which is like a glorified arena football type thing, he's like, I could still compete with everybody out there. You know?
Bring me them prime NFL prospects. I will destroy
He's like,
them
I'll still be
corners.
one of the greatest in the NFL if they let me back in.
T.O., I'm sorry, man. You are a freak of nature physically. I will
and even
at
your age, you know, you're still a stud.
But if you get hit by Aaron Donald, you're gonna die.
But there's a good chance he's probably not gonna get hit by Aaron Donald.
I don't know. I feel like Aaron Donald at his age and his physicality is probably faster than T.O. right now.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But you know, who knows? But my point is, you know, some of these guys will literally take your head off. I mean, there was just a defensive end that ran a 4.40, and the dude weighs 300 pounds and it's solid muscle.
I'm gonna talk shit about him because, you know, he got stiff armed to the moon from Derrick Henry. But yeah, you could probably, you know, outbeat Josh Norman.
So first of all, Derrick Henry is the freak of nature, okay? Like, that man he's a Madden code. You know, back in the day when Madden actually had cheat codes, that was Derrick Henry.
He's basically NFL Blitz.
Yeah.
Carrying people on his back, throwing them to the side.
You know, that day we told everyone that we went and played that Ninja Turtles game at an arcade? We actually played the original NFL Blitz too. You know, Cincinnati Bengals, Green Bay Packers. Only one was victorious. Surprisingly, we went into overtime.
It was such a good game.
Which is exactly how the last two Packers versus Bengals meetings have gone. They've gone into overtime. But as in those two games, Packers prevailed in the end. So now I'm 3-0 against Paul. So
that was actually great playing that game. But you know what's funny is, like, watching it, it's like, man, this used to be such high quality graphics, and now it's like so hard to even find the football on the screen.
Well, we talked about, you know, GoldenEye, and it's like, oh my God, that looks so real. And then you look at it now and you're like, oh my God, it hurts.
My brain's gonna explode from these graphics being so terrible.
But you know, I hope the XFL succeeds. If you're a fan of football, you have to understand, in order for these, you can't say, oh, I'm going to wait until it gets better, because then it won't. Because if you've got 5 million people that say, I'm going to wait until it gets better, it's not going to succeed. They need us to be fans. They need us to just tune in. You don't have to buy shit. Just turn the channel on and watch the damn game so that people like us can get the satisfaction of a second football league, okay?
Yeah, and I mean, it's a great way, too, for, maybe like young college players who don't get invited to the combine or, who just still want to play football.
Or didn't get
and
drafted
Yeah,
at all,
and there's a good chance that those people go and play for a year and can move into the NFL. So, to me, it's like, man, this could be very beneficial for the NFL because someone gets injured and you need somebody who's been playing, not been sitting on the side, who's cold. Oh, well, he just played an entire season for the XFL, and he did great as an offensive lineman. Let's bring him in.
Yeah, well, my understanding is that was one of the pitches, is that, like, this is essentially like a development league for the NFL, as was the AAF. Because, look at, Orlando. We had, Blaine Gabbert, I think.
Was that who it was?
The Orlando Apollo's quarterback. And then he actually got another shot in the NFL after leading the Orlando Apollos to a 7-1
Maybe that's where
season.
Colin Kaepernick should go.
Honestly, if that would be his moment to shine. Like, Colin Kaepernick, we see videos of him throwing the ball, and, I've seen pictures of videos of Johnny Manziel throw the best ball in my life. Doesn't mean he can make it in the NFL anymore. Colin Kaepernick, when he was in the NFL, was dominant until his final season. People forget about that. His final season, he was shit, and he got benched for, I think, Blaine Gabbert. So people forget that. Now, do I think Colin deserves a second chance? I think everyone deserves a second chance. What happened with him, politics aside, it sucked for him. We're not going to get into any fucking detail on that shit.
Yeah.
We're not going to give our sides on that. But everyone deserves a second chance. My opinion is he's been saying for years he wants to be a starter. He's turned down
multiple
offers to be a backup, and that's part of the problem. Now, mind you, he has since said, I think it was this year, he said that he would be willing to be a backup now, but now you've been out of the league for
more than that. I think it's been like
years?
5 or almost 6 years now.
But yeah, the XFL, that's a great point. That would be a great opportunity for Colin Kaepernick to finally prove to people who say he can't do it anymore to go in and do it. And even if that doesn't bring him into the NFL again, there's going to be money to be made in the XFL. Plus, you get to continue doing what you love to do and play football.
And then we've talked about all the time. We played high school sports and things like that. Just to be able to get back out there and do it again. Yeah. Would be awesome just to even have fun. I do a lot of co-ed and just regular softball. And, I miss just the smell of the baseball field. And, after being done, you're like, damn, that was just so much fun.
I miss when someone spits a fresh dip into my face. Well, yeah, I mean, even when we go out and play, basketball or football, up until the first 5 minutes, I'm like, damn, this is amazing. And then after that, I'm dying the entire time.
Well, it's the next day when your body feels like it's broken. You're like, damn it.
Caitlin, my legs are broken. They're both broken. I swear to God, they're broken.
Yeah, I'm really not feeling well. I'm going to have to call out of work today.
Yeah. So I know I drive most of the day, but I literally can't move my legs. So unless you want me to crash this motherfucker and kill everybody, I got to take a day off. But yeah, I think that'll wrap it up for the podcast. XFL, I hope you succeed. Golden State Heat is my guess for the NBA Finals. And, tune in to our stream every night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've been playing a lot of Apex, but if you guys want to see us play anything else, let us know.
Yeah, pop in some questions in the chat, and we'll answer them. And, we look forward to seeing you guys next week. So
And that's a big thing. If you guys are watching on YouTube, don't be afraid to comment while we're streaming. Ask a question about the game. That stuff drives the algorithm. The more comments we get on any of our videos, including our podcast, the more comments we get, the more likes we get, the more the video will be seen by other people. So, help us out. Like the videos, comment on the podcast, comment on the live streams. Help us out.
Yo, Berlinium Falcon.
What up, Doc?
10 episodes in. Love you, homie. That's good. It's good to get that out of my system.
I do what I like, and I like what I do.
I definitely thought you were singing a different song. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim 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 chim.
That's what I was singing.
Oh, was it?
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo. I do what I like and I like what I do. Yeah.
All right. Let's get this rocking and rolling. All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the MGS podcast, your one-stop shop for movies, games, and sports. And I'm here with this asshole next to me named Jacob Russell Eshewick, and he likes to give blow.
Who doesn't, Paul? Am I right?
All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the MGS podcast, your one-stop shop for movies, games, and sports. Moving on here to our second segment, which we're actually going to get into some PC games here. It's not just PC. Because Arma
You
can
stupid motherfucker. No, it's not.